Welcome to Best Practices Weekly for Primary Teachers. Today we'll look at some best practices for how we can encourage our struggling writers to become successful authors. Q is for Duck, using alphabet books with struggling writers, is a lesson plan that is adapted from Read, Write, Think, and the article can be found in the February 2014 edition of The Reading Teacher. This article uses the mentor text Q is for Duck and alphabet guessing game, and the article gives 5 sessions that can help struggling writers learn how to engage in the writing process. I want to be upfront and say that this article is geared towards middle elementary students, but as I read it and really dived into it, I really think that it would also be an amazing way to engage our young primary writers in taking something through the mentor process that is highly interesting to them as they look at the mentor text Q is for Duck. So today we'll break down each session and look at what the different lessons call for. Session 1 is a read aloud of Q is for Duck and alphabet guessing game. And even just the title I think will spark students' interest level because obviously duck does not start with a Q. So as the read aloud begins, the teacher reads the first page which says A is for zoo, and the students try to make predictions as to why the author chose the letter A. And as they turn the page, they learn that the author is patterning the letter A for animals at the zoo. So throughout the rest of the book, students are looking for the patterns, making predictions as to why the author chose that letter to go along with that word. And then at the end of the story, they're doing some pre-writing they don't even know that they're doing, and that is looking for and recording patterns that they see within the book. And the teacher is actually doing that recording for them. So with a lot of the pre-writing done during the read aloud, session 2 is modeled writing. And the class knows at this point that they're going to write an ABC book that's modeled after the mentor text. And so as a class, they come up with a focus for their book. The article talks about that maybe your focus for the book is about school. And what are some things that we might say about the letter A for school? And so they talk about apples, and the way that they tweak it, like the mentor text, is A is for desk, and when they turn the page it would be apples on the teacher's desk. So students start engaging in a first draft after the teacher has modeled that for them, and that modeling is a really important process that I think that we sometimes skip over. We jump right into the independent piece and the independent writing that we want students to do, but we forget to show them what it should look like first. So don't skip out on that part. But by the end of the modeled writing, every student is brainstorming ways to complete sentences, reflecting on the mentor text and following that same structure. And then after the modeled writing comes the independent writing. This is session 3. And if you go to readwritethink.org in the resources cabinet, there is an alphabet graphic organizer that will help our students organize their thoughts so that they are able to do the independent writing portion of the lesson. After you have modeled with the class how to complete the graphic organizer, focusing in on one letter, each student then has one letter that they are responsible for doing that page of the class ABC book. So the graphic organizer helps them organize their thoughts so that they can do the independent writing portion as the rough draft of their page for the book. And for the revision and peer editing session, which is session 4, again, the teacher brings the whole class together and models what that revision process looks like by looking at one student's independent writing and modeling for them how to edit for capitals, punctuation, spelling, how to look and make sure that the page makes sense, that the writing flows, any revisions that need to be done. And then students can actually exchange their page with a partner once the expectations have been modeled whole group. And session 5 is the final draft, and that's where so many of our primary students want to jump to. This teacher models for the students how to complete the final draft for their page in the book, including an illustration and how you build suspense on the first page before you turn and see what the answer is. And then after that, the writers complete their portion of the book using the revisions, and of course sharing the final drafts and putting the class book together is the most important and exciting part. Out of these 5 sessions in this article, I picked up on a few best practices for helping struggling writers that we can use in our primary classrooms. Looking at mentor text while also giving struggling writers a high level of support encourages them by giving them different formats to try. By them really studying the pattern within mentor text, it just gives them ideas for how to incorporate those kind of techniques into their writing. Again, that modeling process becomes really important because we're giving high levels of support to them so that they do experience success in publishing. I hope that you have the book Q is for Duck, or you can find it, and that you can try these sessions in your classroom and see how you can transform your struggling writers into published authors.